Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. It was a day that started off like any other day. Businessmen and businesswomen prepared themselves for another workday, and school children settled down in their seats for a day's lesson. But before the mornings of people's lives could begin, a tragic incident occurred, killing thousands of American citizens and breaking the hearts of many more. How many of you remember what you were doing that day? If anyone is about my age, you were just about to start your day in kindergarten. On that Tuesday, 4 planes were hijacked and brought to various places around the US. You may be wondering, how is it possible to let the hijacker on the plane? How did they get through airport security? That answer will never be answered the way that us Americans want to hear. But it all boils down to airport security. In this speech, I plan to inform you, the audience, on airport security before and after 9/11. I want to state facts that I have found and explain why airport security became more advanced after 9/11. Lastly, I want to explain the aftermath of the devastating scene of the World Trade Center and Pentagon. Some people might ask why airport security was not as strict before. Well, that answer isn't so easy to answer. According to the International Foundation for Protection Officers, an area of concern before the terrorist attacks took place were the actual security access areas of the infrastructure, that infrastructure being the airports. In May of 2000, agents from the Department of Transportation used fictitious law badges and credentials to gain access to secure areas, bypass security checkpoints, and walk unescorted to aircraft departure gates. These agents could have been a potentially dangerous threat. They went undetected by airport security. Who knows what they could have done? This goes without saying that if the airport securities were stricter and more enforced, we might have been able to stop the terrorist attack before it happened. Moving along, the events that took place after 9/11 were to ensure the American people that our government would protect them. We sent troops to Afghanistan and stricter rules were set in place at the airport. According to faircompare.com, there has been multiple upgrades to airport security. Some upgrades involve that the passenger must have a specific ID on them. They must remove shoes, hats, belts, and empty their pockets. Then they must enter a 3D scanner that scans for potentially foreign objects. The TSA also does random selecting of passengers flying in and out of the US. As for pilots, more extensive background checks are done along with any personnel that is able to access any restricted areas. According to NATO, Criminal History Records Check, otherwise known as CHRC, along with the Criminal History Verification and drug and alcohol checks are performed on any one person that wants to become a pilot. Social security traces are done to identify the person and tell anything and everything about that person. You might be thinking that it's really annoying standing in the long lines and having to take everything off just to get on a plane. But who knows, all of that might stop another hijacking from happening. Now we all know the World Trade Center buildings no longer stand and that a memorial is in its place now. But what we might not know are the countless heroes that risked their lives that day. According to CNN, a total of 2,977 people died on that Tuesday the 11th. 343 of those were New York City Fire Department, who risked their lives to save others, but couldn't save their own. 23 New York City Police Department officers, along with 37 Port Authority officials, died on that tragic day as well. Countless more were standard civilians who happened to lose their life due to the impact or breathing in the deadly toxins. As many of you know, the war in Afghanistan was a drug-out battle where many soldiers lost their lives fighting to keep you and me safe. According to globalresearch.com, the war was a result of the terrorist attacks made on the US soil. President Bush stood in front of a broken nation on that day and promised justice for the American people. Several years later, President Obama stood in front of the same nation and announced the capture of Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind those attacks. Following the capture of Osama bin Laden, the US troops have continued to fight for our freedom, to live our lives, not fearing any future attacks. To summarize, I hope that hearing these facts and using what you already know gives you a better understanding of why security is just that strict. The terrorist attacks that occurred on September 11, 2001 is regarded as one of the most pivotal events that occurred in the 21st century. As we recall, airport security was nowhere as advanced or strict as in today's society. If you take one thing from my speech today, I hope that is that you take the time out of your day to remember the events that happened on that day and thank the people who are serving overseas. Thank you.